The devil is the remote. Oh, I'm sitting on it. That's sort of funny. Yes, I realize I look ridiculous. I have on, your glasses aren't straight. You don't have on a bra. Why do you have on a sweatshirt that says Kansas? Because one of my followers sent it to me. So this morning, or most mornings, I wake up and anybody with children knows that the mornings for us, it's between 7 and 7:30, or that's a big part of the day. 7 to 7:30 is like, I don't know, 2.5 hours in the old days of like singledom or no mothering. I mean, it's like, it's a little bit like being in hell, right? You're a lot is packed in. So then I usually feel like I need to recover for like 2 hours from getting ready to school. And then when you pick them up in the afternoon, that's day two. Because you kind of forget what it's like to have babies. Like I hadn't had a baby in a while, but I do have this almost 9-year-old who is in perpetual toddlerhood. Hello, Kim. And just wanted to give a shout out to all the mothers and fathers who are getting people up and dressed and fed. And if you have an extra special little person, you're getting an extra like fist bump, because we have not babies, but we have children who are in elementary school who have to be helped to put their socks on, have to be helped to put their shoes on, have to be told that they need to brush their teeth, brush their hair, drag them out of bed in the morning, take into the bathroom. And I'm thankful somebody uses the potty. I mean, I've got an almost 9-year-old, and not a week goes by that I don't say, Lord, thank you for letting us be potty trained, because a lot of people are not. And it is hard. Then we have to get out the medicine. And then when we get the medicine out, we realize that we're almost out of the medicine. So then you got to drive 35 minutes to go get the medicine and call it in. I mean, there's a lot that happens around here. I know people think I'm just living in the lap of luxury, but we got trazodone for sleeping. You need to subscribe. Yes, you do. My nurse, Gina, so I have an autoimmune disorder, and my nurse, Gina, is getting ready to come over. And if there's ever a time to subscribe, it's before Gina comes over, because they're real funny. Then this is guanfacine. We take this at night. Yes, have to help my 19-year-old get ready. And then this is buspirone. Buspirone is what I'm getting close to being out of. And this is twice a day, and it's kind of ADHD type medicine. So we have all these medicines. Oh, and then this is my medicine for this morning. And it's hard to remember all this stuff. I'm telling y'all, and I'm not saying this to like whine or complain or say, woe is me. But I had a really good friend yesterday, and we were having this conversation about the Christmas pageant at church. So when my other children were little, you'd be like, oh, I can't wait for the Christmas pageant. And I'm a Sunday school teacher, or I'm an assistant. And you know what I think about the Christmas pageant? You want to talk about anxiety? It will put me over the frickin' edge. And I'm clearly not someone, I ain't somebody that pretends everything is perfect. No, I don't have everything just so, not my hair, not my makeup. I mean, I don't even wear bras in public, at the coffee shop. So it is unusual that I would feel anxiety, because I am not an anxious person. But the Christmas pageant, like, puts me into a tailspin, a pure T tailspin. So Amos, who's almost 9, when he was 2 or 3 and he was dressed like a sheep, he looked kind of cute, Well, now he's big, and you're like, oh my God, he's going to possibly catch the church on fire. And typically when you have an almost 9-year-old, you're not worried about those things. Feeling alone and isolated is the worst feeling, said Kelly. Kelly, I would agree with you. That is a bad feeling. But maybe what's worse for me is feeling hopeless. And I don't feel hopeless currently, but there have been times that I have felt hopeless. And particularly when we're trying to get Amos's medicine right. And finding a great, I guess there's some things you can do. Finding a great pediatric psychiatrist is key. We see Dr. Copeland at Duke Autism. And I mean, every time we talked this summer, I was basically crying. And he was empathetic, genuinely empathetic. And he said, you know, we're going to get this. And it was like the word we just meant so much to me. We're going to get this. And I guess that's why I find it, it's so important to me to have a space here. And I might talk about mean teachers at childcare programs, or I might talk about teenagers that order posters of people with no underpants on and tennis outfits. But I also talk about serious things. Tonight, I have Tiffany Edens, who was a victim and is no longer a victim, coming on at 8 p.m. to talk about the jogger rapist who is going to be let out of prison in December. He admitted to raping 10 children and young women. And, I mean, broke in her house and did that. She was 13. So, and then I like to talk about autism and special needs, and not only just for the moms and dads who know what it's like, but for the other folks who really don't have an idea. Because before Amos, I didn't know about this world. And it's really a pretty cool world. I mean, it is hard as hell. But we want you to know, and we want you to understand, and we want you to support us. And you don't have to say, oh, it's fine, or, you know, we don't care. I had my friend yesterday who is really a good friend, but she said, I don't care if Amos doesn't behave during the Christmas pageant. And I got a little teary because if I want the world to understand, then I have to share my heart a little bit. And that's really hard to be vulnerable. Let's be honest. It's like being butt naked somewhere. And I said, I know you don't care, and I don't care about you. I mean, I don't care what you think. What I care about is my other children, particularly his older 3 siblings. And I don't want their Christmas Eve ruined because they're anxious, wondering what he's going to do, right? And she was like, well, that makes sense. And I said, to me, it feels like if your husband showed up naked and like drunk at church, and I said to you, I don't care if he's naked and drunk. And you'd be like, well, I don't want him naked and drunk, but it doesn't affect the other people. And then we started laughing. We have a nonverbal 16-year-old daughter with trisomy 21. Down syndrome, fist bump tussle. Yes, Melanie. And we can use humor. I mean, if you don't laugh, you might not make it. Let's be honest. But yesterday I shared about this teacher, I use the term loosely, named Cece in Mississippi, who was scaring these toddlers. And, oh, good, you ordered Forever Boy. So my friend Kate Swinson wrote a book called Forever Boy. And in my subscriber group, we've started a book club. So the end of October, our book club is a little bit different. When we read a book, the author is going to come on and talk about it with us. The dog, our service dog for Amos, she has a penchant for drinking during me doing videos. It's like a talent she has. Honor Wood. Grief interspersed with joy. Yeah, there's a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions. I'm trying to think what else I have coming up. Oh, got a great live video sponsored by MedIQ on menopause and mental health. The average age of women who take their own lives is age 51, which is peak menopause. So I am really excited to share that concept, and so that people, again, know how they can get help. If you miss subscriber videos, yes, you can watch them. You can binge watch later. You can fold laundry, you can drive in the car and binge watch. I have a 25-year-old who graduated from UNC, has depression issues, has a great job, just announced on Facebook, that he is autistic. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Oh, but the teacher scaring those toddlers, that's a little bit how it feels to parent a special child who, and Amos is verbal, but I had said a couple weeks ago he had an injury, and we still don't know how it happened. He kept saying it happened with mommy. Well, I mean, I don't think it happened with mommy, but it's really, it's hard when you belong to someone who can't tell you. Your teenagers might choose not to tell you, but they can tell you. Belonging to somebody who can't tell you really puts you in a vulnerable state because you have to trust people around you. And I think one comment that honestly pissed me off was people that were like, well, I wouldn't send my children to childcare. That's why I stayed home. Okay, just go with me down this dark rabbit hole. Other than the fact that most of us have 2 working parent families. I know, it's hard to believe that this is a job. That's what my husband says. But you can't stay in a bubble. So even if you decide you're not going to work because you're afraid your child is going to get scared by a crappy person who pretends she's a teacher, well, at some point you're going to go to the doctor, or you're going to send your child to school, or maybe they're going to go to camp, or maybe they're going to have to go to surgery or be in the hospital. At some point, you are going to have to entrust your child with another adult. You can't just say, well, I became a doctor, so I didn't have to send my child to the doctor. Or I became a neurosurgeon, so when my brother had a brain tumor, my parents didn't have to let somebody else handle it. I mean, that is a dumb rabbit hole. Oh, thank you for telling me, Amber. I do have a TEDx talk. Finding Joy, I think. And I'm surprised how many people watch it. But I'll tell you what, I worked my ass off to do it. I had to memorize the whole thing. It gave me a new respect for, you're going to laugh, for people that are on freaking soap operas and have to memorize whole new long paragraphs of, jargon and talking every day. Like, they must be brilliant. I can't memorize like 4 sentences, and I'm not kidding you. It may explain why I got a 980 on the SAT. Thank you, Dory. My goal is to present my inside and have it reflect my outside. My goal is not to have everything look wonderful and then me just be a wreck on the inside. Because if we try to look amazing on the outside and we're not thriving on the inside, other people look at us and are like, wow, does she have it all together? We have to be honest so that other people know they're not alone. Angela just said, at least you didn't have to make out with anyone. Now, that's a wonderful point, Angela. I did not. So Ray said, childcare is something you don't skip on. I agree, Ray. The problem is, in some communities, there are no options of high quality childcare. And I think that's what we saw in Mississippi in this situation. Where I live, lots of grandparents keep children. We've never had those grandparents in our lives. Our grandparents do wonderful, nice, kind things, but they are not childcare workers. No, I'm always very envious of people whose grandparents keep the kids overnight, pick them up from preschool. I mean, I don't know these people, but I would like them. I would like them in my life. Mm-hmm. I feel like our grandparents hide. That's what they mainly do. And when you have a child with special needs, again, the grandparents could keep up with my big three, but they can't handle Amos. They don't know him in the way we do. My 13-year-old daughter, honestly, is as savvy as anybody when it comes to him. We have our nanny, my husband. We have 3 children and 3 older children. And we have a couple teenagers that can do okay, but like we went to see my parents last year for spring break and we wanted to go out to dinner, like a pretty reasonable thing to do. We get a babysitter because you don't go out to dinner if you actually want to go to dinner with Amos. And something happened. Had we gotten rid of the iPad yet? Something went wrong. And the babysitter called us and was like, you have to come home. You know, and that was disappointing to my older children. I left, they stayed, but then they wanted us to have dinner together, you know? So anyway, it's just hard things that a lot of people aren't aware of. And again, it's not to get some like sympathy card. It's just to let you know that if we appear tired or, well, I hadn't even gotten into the no sleep thing. Between the dog, my husband, and the 8-year-old in the bed, it feels like you're sleeping on like a crappy cruise ship in a thunderstorm. I mean, you're hanging on to dear life to the bed. The dog's snoring. The husband's going, you're like, what is that noise? And then Amos is yelling, stop burping. I mean, and then random fire alarms are going off, which is a good thing that I bought 9 by accident last week because I'm like ready to chomp all those things. I'm up there whacking them with broom handles. I mean, it's bad times. It's bad times over here. Bad times. So anyway, so I appreciate having a village, and I appreciate having a space to share and talk, and nobody interrupts me because none of you are allowed to talk when I'm on the video. I mean, you can comment. And I love my subscriber page. It's just a group of people who are supportive and kind. And in fact, we are going on a cruise. I had about 150 people to my town in the spring. And in January, we're going on a cruise. If anybody's interested, we have a few slots left, maybe 4. And I'm super excited. Super excited. So not everybody can obviously go away on a cruise. It's kind of a big deal. I probably should be going away with my husband somewhere, but I'm not. Because, you know, you just do what you can. And it's hard for both of us to be gone. And I worry that when we're both gone, what if something happens to both of us? Then what the hell is going to happen, you know? I mean, it's a struggle. But this morning, Nurse Gina is coming. Nurse Gina is one of the funniest people on the planet. She's from Gates County. And she and I tickle each other. New supporter. Oh, I'm so glad, Michelle. Subscriber. Do you ever just cry? Yes, I do cry. Not often on videos. I got a little teary on the phone yesterday talking to my friend about this Christmas pageant. You know, it's funny. I can be vulnerable, but I still feel like I'm a little bit in control of it. The crying is hard for me because it's a weakness that it's hard for me. There's also this feeling when you have a little person, or not, maybe not a little person, with special needs, there's this feeling that if I complain, it's going to equate to not loving him or her. And I don't know why. I think we put that on ourselves, like on guilt for ourselves. And I don't know why that is. Because I complain about my other children a lot. And nobody would think I didn't love them, you know. And I do. Hope to see you in April in Minnesota. Yes, so I have some big events. I had committed to not doing speaking events this year. And I'm now doing like 4. But funny enough, I'm not doing paid speaking events this year. How about that? I'm going to Minnesota to speak at my friend Kate Swenson's conference. She has Finding Cooper's Voice, the one we're doing the book club to. So I'm doing that. Yesterday, I committed to doing the Autism of North Carolina's big gala in Wilmington, May 11th. And then I think on May 12th, I'm doing a little speaking thing for kind of an Eastern North Carolina autism group. And I'm really thankful to do some things that I want to do. And it's kind of nice to do something where you're not getting paid, because then they can't complain. No, they wouldn't. But so I am going to be around a little bit. I haven't told my family about this yet. Yes, you don't have to share a room on the cruise, but you can. Have you heard about the little boy who was found dead in Eatonton? Yes, I have. That is in my own town. A 2-year-old with special needs was found deceased in a bucket with a little water in it. And I have not gotten I really am hesitant to talk too much about it, because I don't know the details. And Honor, quiet. 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 Quiet.
Honor, good Lord.
My God, it's like being in hell. So I don't. Wait, get the. Quiet. Quiet. She's not used to you being in here.
Why?
You're a stranger. She's an attack dog.
She's got the wrong service. Mixed up on her job.
Come to Pitt County. That's where I'm going to be, in Pitt County. Oh, that's nice.
I thought Gina was here.
Gina's not here yet. What do we have the pleasure of my friend being here this morning?
Good morning.
I was just talking about you.
You were?
Uh-huh.
What were you saying?
I was talking about the Christmas pageant. No, I was telling them, I said, it's hard to be vulnerable, but you have to be honest with your friends.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't let you cancel this meeting because your comfort is more important than anything.
But then I told them that I told you when you said, I don't care if Amos misbehaves. I said,
But you do.
we'll have your husband come drunk, naked to church. And I don't care. Honestly, I think it's wonderful if it happens.
Right.
I mean, I
So
love.
we're going to go back to the morning.
Oh, God. I had already gotten myself ready for the night.
You're more important to me than...
No, but I'm okay with it now. I've processed all the emotions and I've accepted it. Don't go back on me.
I'm going back on you.
No, I'm not. I have to go.
I just needed to think about it for a little while.
I am
And
new.
ultimately, if Amos's best chance is to be successful is in the morning, it's always been in the morning, and you wanted it in the morning.
Well, I kind of like night now because maybe I could have a drink before the pageant and not feel like a total lush. We have to go discuss this. Subscribers come over and see Nurse Gina will be here in a few minutes.
Are you on the big page?
Yeah, goodbye.